So Mercedes may just have saved Mick Schumacher's career. Well, kinda. They couldn't bring him back to the grid, but hey, he's still sorta kinda maybe in F1, and that's something, right? In today's video, we'll talk about why Mercedes wanted Mick Schumacher in the first place. Was it the Schumacher name? Keep watching to find out. So make sure to stay until the end of the video to learn all about it. First up, Mick's going to the Silver Arrows. When Mick came into Formula One, expectations were high, very high. He came in as the son of seven-time world champion Michael Schumacher. He also came in as the winner of the F2 and F3 championships. So folks expected him to be a success almost immediately, and 2021 didn't look so bad, now did it? We mean, yeah, he didn't score any points at all whatsoever, but it was his rookie year, and he was constantly besting his teammate of the time, Nikita Mazepin. On top of that, he was driving a car that could only be described as a tractor. Maybe Mick wasn't that good, but the point is, standing next to Nikita made him look darn well. Anyway, that was his rookie season, and it went okay-ish. In 2022, Nikita's being replaced because of the sanctions on Russia, and Mick suddenly doesn't look so good anymore. He's up against Kevin Magnussen, a driver who's a lot more experienced, and a driver who managed to score 13 more points. On top of that, Mick kinda crashed a lot, and Haas just couldn't afford that kinda damage, considering how broke the American outfit is. Anyway, all these events led to him losing his seat. Haas decided to go for the much more experienced Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg's not the best, but he's old, he's experienced, and most of all, he doesn't crash so much. Haas has completely switched their strategy. Rather than having drivers who are young and experienced and helping them grow, they went for mediocre drivers with experience. However, some would argue that Mick never got a chance to prove himself because of the terrible car he was in. Next up, Mercedes to the rescue. Now Mick's out of his seat. He doesn't know what to do. Almost every other team is full. Plus, Mick doesn't have the experience or record to be able to go to a decent team. The only other team as horrible as Haas left on the grid is now Williams, but they're not super interested either. Toto threw him a lifeboat when everything seemed dark, and Mick started to lose hope. Mick has now signed with Mercedes as their reserve driver, and we hope this time can be used by him to grow and eventually get a seat on the grid, because, well, being a primary driver for Mercedes just doesn't seem like an option right now. George is too young, yet too good. Hamilton is old, but he's not going anywhere for at least another couple of years. And this is good news for Mick, right? Of course it is. But it's good news for Mercedes too. They didn't entirely sign him for selfish reasons. They kinda wanted him too. Up next, Mercedes find value in Mick. Mercedes Toto Wolff has claimed that Mick Schumacher offers plenty of value to the German outfit. He has explained why the team signed him up and why they're eager to have him work with them. Oh, and this isn't something that just happened overnight. There had been plenty of speculation regarding the matter. Folks have known for months that Mercedes was interested in signing Mick Schumacher over the recent months. And of course, these rumors only intensified once Haas announced that they'll be signing up Nico Hülkenberg. And while Schumacher has been quite open about how he feels about the whole thing, and he's been pretty open about his frustrations with Haas and how things unfolded, that doesn't mean that other opportunities won't present themselves. Because, see folks, here's the problem. Returning to F1 after a year on the sidelines is not exactly the easiest thing to do. We mean, Hülkenberg did it, but with Haas. Anyway, the 23-year-old's new contract with Mercedes is probably a good way for him to remain in the sport and make the most of any changes that end up happening in the market. Because let's not forget, Audi's coming in 2026, and they're already starting to get more and more involved with Sauber. The German manufacturer even mentioned mentioned that it would like to work with German drivers. Wait, could Seb come out of retirement and then Mick and Seb will be teammates? Nah, that's too far-fetched, or is it? But regardless of what's going to happen, for now, Mick just needs to make sure he has a good relationship with Mercedes and a good relationship with all the important folks on the team. Moving on, why did Mercedes sign Mick? Alright, so at this point, you're probably wondering why Mercedes saved Schumacher's career. Since we don't work at Mercedes, unfortunately, we're going to let Toto Wolff explain it himself. He said, Mick is a talented young driver, and we're delighted to have him join the team. He is a hard worker, has a calm and methodical approach, and is still hungry to learn and improve as a driver. These are all important qualities, and we're excited for him to help us develop the W14. Wolff also talked about the 2 years of experience in F1 that Schumacher has. That means he'll be ready to step into the car and race if necessary. And with the Mercedes car, who knows? Maybe he'll do a darn well job, because he's still never had the chance to race in a competitive car. But it's not all good news, because here's the thing. Schumacher's joining the team during one of their most difficult times in the last decade. Mercedes had been doing so well until 2021, and now they've just kinda gone bad. Like, the W13 was an absolute joke, and yeah, the car improved over time and managed to win, but the start was absolutely disastrous. Now the German squad's looking to make itself a championship contender again. If Mick ends up helping the development of a car that wins the WDC and the Constructors' Cup, he's gonna be set, because this winter is gonna be important for the team as they look to fix their past mistakes, and Schumacher's gonna be a major part of that. What's more, Mick still believes he can be the world champion. The Schumacher surname is kind of heavy, isn't it? It's both a blessing and a curse. No matter where he goes or what he does, his dad's name is gonna hang over his head. He can win 6 world championships, and he still won't be considered as good as his dad, since he ended up winning 7. But Mick hasn't lost hope, and he's confident he'll be the world champion soon enough. Those are some massive claims, aren't they? Let's see why he feels that way. According to the 23-year-old, he's had this conversation often with himself. He's asked himself if he deserves to be here on the grid, and he thinks that he does. Mick has claimed that he's done everything necessary to prove that he's fast, and on top of that, his record from the junior categories of racing was more than stellar. Schumacher also said that no matter what category he's in, he always managed to get on top quickly, and because of that, he has a feeling that he'll get on top of F1 too. However, he did acknowledge that he'll need the right car for it. So like a Ferrari, Red Bull, or a Mercedes. That's pretty much it. That sounds like he's exaggerating, doesn't it? We mean he's not even on the grid anymore. But it's a good thing he thinks like that, because this reflects the kind of mindset you need to have to win. You need to believe you're the best driver ever. Why else do y'all think drivers are always blaming the car, even if they're at fault? Now for, can he actually win though? Here's the thing, right? It's difficult being a world champion, because not everyone gets to do it. F1's the kind of sport where when a team dominates, it dominates for a long time. Like, look at Mercedes. When they started winning, it seemed like no one else would ever win. Only 2 drivers became world champions in that era, and both were from Mercedes. So it's not like it's a bad thing if we feel that there's no evidence to support Schumacher's claim. The unfortunate truth is, most F1 drivers will retire without having ever won the WDC. Even the current grid has only 3 folks who have been world champions: Fernando, Lewis, and Max. We had Seb too, but he retired. But folks, it's that mindset that'll help him make the most of his reserve role at Mercedes. That's pretty much all he needs to be hopefully kinda successful in the pinnacle of motorsport. So far, Schumacher's career has been respectful. Unfortunately, it's been nothing more than that. And hey, while his teammate did outperform him, let's not forget that he did make it out of Q1 more often, and that too in a Haas. So he may not have mastered the racecraft just yet, but we can't deny his talent. Finishing up, he does have the mindset. So the Schumacher-Haas partnership failed, not because of one, but because of many reasons. And while Schumacher made some mistakes, let's not forget that Haas was very inconsistent and made a lot of errors too. This breakup is something that's going to be beneficial for both of them. Schumacher now has the knowledge and experience that he needs to thrive in the reserve driver role at Mercedes. Of course, we've already talked about this, but it's highly unlikely that this will turn into a full-time role at Mercedes, but it'll allow him to regroup, gain more experience, learn from the best, and then move to a decent team. Whenever he returns, he'll return as a better, well-rounded driver. Schumacher's claim that he can be the world champion is a bit too far-fetched. It's a bit too optimistic, but it shows that he has the exact mindset that he needs to have to make the most of his career in Formula One. That's all for today from our side. Do you guys think that Mick Schumacher will eventually be able to win the World Championship? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next one.